we want to say welcome back as we want to continue our discussion segment on Good Morning Anambra. What do we have? The state government recently empowered more disability people in our midst and actually want to encourage them to have a sense of belonging as far as the Obiano administration is concerned. And that is why we want to talk about today ability in disability, because they have been empowered, they have been encouraged, and they are still saying that Ike no be.
A lot of time we've been talking about that. Most people who are disabled feel the world has come to an end, but you know it's way beyond that, and we really will talk about it this morning.
So we want to welcome you, Barrister Chuks Ezewuzie, SSA to the Governor or Governor Obiano on disability matters. We want to say welcome to Good Morning Anambra show today.
Thank you very much. I'm highly honored to be here.
Interesting.
You're looking very quiet. You're really very happy this morning and so elated.
Very interestingly.
You want to tell us how your weekend went?
My weekend went wonderfully well, especially in the light of the achievement of the weekend with the passage of the Anambra State Disability Rights Bill and the employment opportunity given to 5 sign language interpreters who are being interviewed today and computer skilled people who are being offered employment today. And then the inauguration or the launching of Anambra State Insurance, Health Insurance Scheme. So a lot of things happened at the weekend that should make any Anambra happy.
Very happy.
Yes.
Okay, you've been the SA to the governor, SSA to the governor on disability matters. For how long now?
This is my second year, actually celebrated my second year last week.
Second year, very well. Yes. Now, how has it been all this while managing those in Igbo Palace? You say that the Ike Dinobi. So how have it been all this while?
It's been great. I am not actually managing them. They have people who are responsible
supervising them,
for providing the services they need, like the Ministry of Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs. But I am here to assist our hard-working governor to formulate and implement policies that make life better for persons with disabilities, and of course, organize persons with disabilities to derive maximum benefit from the wonderful policies of His Excellency.
Okay, now that has played out. Like you mentioned at the weekend, most of the things came on board where most of the disabilities, the individuals were given opportunity to serve. And of course, more and more incentive were given to your department. So you are so happy about that.
Absolutely. And like you earlier mentioned, they are being empowered, because when we talk about ability in disability, we are talking about those other aspects of their life, those gifts, those naturally endowed qualities in them that must be allowed to manifest in spite of their disability. And this is why the governor and the government of Anambra State, the APGA administration, has focused on empowering persons with disabilities to bring out those abilities that is in them, the ability that is in a particular person that should come out in spite of that individual's disability. And I think you guys call them Ike Dinobi, but if I'm one of them, Ike Mabroka Sanobi.
Okay, we have a caller here already. Let's see. Hello, good morning.
Please tone down the volume of your TV set, or better still, move away from there so we can have a clear discussion.
Okay,
right, we just lost that now. Okay, yeah, we've been talking about ability in disability. Now, a lot of people watching out there would want to know, when we talk about this disability, what does it really mean? You know, I know someone who is but very good at something, but the person is not good at the other one? Does it mean he's disabled in that aspect? Or when we talk about disability, does it just have to do with the physical disability?
Well, the recently passed bill, the disability rights bill, which will soon become law as soon as my action governor gives his assent to it. That law, or that bill as it is right now, soon to become law, describes disability as substantial impairment of a certain function or part of the body. It can be physical, it can be visual, it can be auditory, just various aspects. There are some that are hidden, there are some that can be seen, but basically it's a substantial impairment of a certain physical or internal organ or part or experience or emotion. There are different types. But when someone is diagnosed of having this kind of impairment, then we classify the person as a person with disability. And may I correct your terminology?
Okay, sorry, before you do the correction, let's see who is here. Hello, good morning.
All right, good. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't say disabled people. Only trucks, machines are disabled. So we say persons with disabilities.
Okay.
So that is so we put the word person first, and this is in compliance to the United Nations established standard under the CRPD, which is the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So when you describe them, the word person must come first.
Okay. Let's see who is here. Hello, good morning. Okay, let's go over to you've actually described the disability. We must add persons with disability. Now, what is the ability in that disability? Let's actually emphasize on the ability, because that is why the state government is empowering more of the persons living on that very condition. So what is the ability now?
The ability in disability simply refers to other talent, other naturally endowed qualities, something that is inbuilt, given by God into a person that ordinarily you will ignore. Sometimes you ignore because you're focusing on the other thing. For instance, if my visual impairment makes me focus on my auditory canal or the use of other aspects of my life, focusing on those just because of the absence of that vision, that enhances the other things, the other qualities that you have. For instance, I can recognize your voice more than you can recognize Kane's voice.
Just like you recognize my voice.
Yeah, because you are focusing on your sight. You're looking at him, so you're not focusing on the voice. But myself, since I'm not looking at his face, I can hear your voice and call your name, whereas you need to see my face before you can call my name. So that is ability in disability. May I also say that the main point of ability in disability is when you are a person with some form of disability and you have his ability, then because you have his ability, then disability gives way to ability. What do I mean by his ability? When you focus on his ability, in other words, God-given ability, that is capital H, his ability. So we say his ability. When you are a person with disability and you know God, then you are a person with his ability. And because you are a person with his ability, there is ability in disability.
Okay.
It's always amazing to hear you talk and hear you speak. Well, a recent report says that no fewer than 130 persons with disabilities has so far been provided with artificial legs, hands by the Anambra state government. And of course, you also disclosed to newsmen in your office recently that the wife of the governor also provided artificial limbs as part of our contributions to provide support to persons with disabilities in the state. Now, my question is, what are some other government policies and programs for persons with disabilities in the state?
Okay, before you get to the question.
Or more than that.
Let's see who is here, please. Hello, good morning. Okay, it's gone.
Go ahead.
Did you say 134? No, we are talking about 1,300. So recently, over 1,400. Over 1,400 persons have been given artificial limbs by Osodieme, the wife of the governor of Anambra State, through the cafe program. So she is doing a lot, providing succor for the physically challenged.
Okay, she's doing a lot.
She's doing.
Yes. My question was, what are some other government policies and programs?
Many other, like employment opportunity, automatic employment opportunity for persons with disabilities, not subject to vacancy.
Okay, not subject to vacancy.
Not subject to vacancy. So if a person graduates from a school.
Sorry, let's see who is here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, your name and your location, please.
I'm Obi Chuks. I'm calling from Obi.
Ogidi, okay. What we are talking about is ability and disability. What's your take?
Hello?
We are talking about ability in disability. Do you have a contribution or question?
Recently I just called my sister and I surprised her. And I said to her, did you hear what just happened? She said, what happened? I said, the way the rate of death is so much now. Look did you hear who just died? She said, oh my God, who died? I said, network. Network just
okay. So somebody who is out there, somebody who is disabled, so to speak, that person living in that very condition, he might feel that the world is almost over for him. And then without knowing that, yes, there is still ability in that very condition, like you actually expressly informed us. Does it mean that those who are disabled can go to school? Can they go to school and learn? Can they actually exhibit what the natural endowment by really moving ahead?
Absolutely. That brings us to another policy that Apokwedike, the governor of Anambra State, Chief Dr. Willie Obiano, has introduced, and which is free education for persons with disabilities.
Free education.
Free education at all levels. At all levels. And it's one of the promises he made to me when we were talking in New York, even before I left America to come home to work as his senior special assistant. He said, I will do this. When I told him that education is key to every other thing we're talking about in terms of a better life, education is access to life. You have education you are providing that person access to other things in life. And he said, I will give them free education from primary to tertiary institution at all levels. And he has announced it also when he gathered all persons with disabilities at Governor's Lodge and welcoming them and feeding them and talking with them and discussing with them, hearing from them, and they heard from him. At that occasion, he announced to them, you have a chance to study in any institution free of charge, tuition free, and not just tuition, but free education for students with disabilities.
Now, is it realizable, using your own as a test case?
Well,
you're a barrister.
Think about me.
Yes.
I became blind at age 8 or 7, or would I say I became visually impaired? Because
Visually impaired.
I don't like
Let's
the
use
word
that.
blind.
Okay.
Because anyone that is blind is someone who doesn't know Jesus, who doesn't know God as his Lord and Savior. That person is conjecturally blind.
Yes.
But if you know your Maker, if you walk with God, you're only visually impaired. You are not blind.
Okay.
So I became visually impaired at about 7 years of age, and I thought there was no hope for education.
Good.
Until a gentleman, a philanthropist called Mr. Felix Ezewuzie, Oxford in Ekulobia, took me to school, assisted by my cousin Emmanuel Anyora, and they took me to Geneva Special Education Center, where I had my primary education. From there, I proceeded to Federal Government College in Enugu, where I was the first visually impaired student that ever studied in that school. And of course, after I left, we got many of them now, and I thank God it's continuing. When I finished at Federal Government College, I proceeded to University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, where I studied law. And through the help of the Rotary International, I went to America to do my master's in international banking law. I was the first visually impaired student to study at the Maureen Center for Banking Law Studies of Boston University in Massachusetts. So look here. I was without hope at age 7, 8. But now
here you are.
I'm a lawyer, a
Yes.
minister,
Yes.
with graduate degree in law, working as senior special assistant to the governor on disability matters, the highest political position or cabinet position ever given to a person with disabilities. What can we ask? We got opportunity. Now, there was another little girl when I was a little boy who was going to be given the same opportunity, but the parents refused. But they depended on her going out to the street to beg.
Okay, let's see who is here.
Is not mine.
Sorry, let's see who is here. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, Joseph on the line.
Who?
Joseph on the line.
Okay, Auntie Joseph, you're welcome.
Yes. I really want to, first of all, commend the Anambra State House of Assembly on the passage of this bill. And I also know that the governor of Anambra State will not waste time in accepting to this bill so that it becomes a law in Anambra State. The point is that we really need to have this law so that the stigma the people with ability often so far will come to an end. And it will also be a kind of encouragement to some other persons who often resort to begging as a means of livelihood. Because when you have this law in place, then there will be a kind of quota. People with disability will come up, and the government will consider them even in appointments, even in employment, and some other things. They will have that sense of belonging. So it's a good law. It's a welcome development. And I urge other states in the Federation to emulate what we are having in Anambra State today. That somebody is disabled does not actually mean that that person cannot contribute in one way or the other to the nation building.
All right,
so it's a welcome development.
Thank you very much.
The gentleman in the studio,
Okay.
I can see he's very happy.
Thank you. Yes, he's very happy, and we are happy to have him.
Thank you. Before we actually
Willie is working, and the people are happy.
Yes, before we went on this call, you were talking about the little girl who the mother talked about her begging or something. You were saying the story, we didn't get it.
Yes, the parents refused to allow the girl to be sent to school because she was going out to beg for alms and bring him home money. And then, of course, they left this girl without education, and they themselves passed away, and the girl never had a good life as a result of not having the education she would have had. Actually, they said maybe you guys are profiting from those people you are sending to school. That's why you're pressuring me to send this girl to school. And that was a wrong idea, wrong statement, misunderstanding. And I wish that girl had been sent to school. She would have been more intelligent. Girls are very intelligent.
Now, you talked about a bill, which is the Anambra State Bill, rights of persons with disability. And I know that bill has passed the first and second reading. And you also said that the bill has been stalled somewhere along the line. What's the situation of things?
No, it has passed the third reading last Thursday.
It's waiting for governor's action.
It is now waiting for governor's action. And I know that Apokwedike, who had told persons with disabilities, even during the election, on the 17th of November, they gathered to pray with him in his own living room, in his parlor. He welcomed them. They prayed with him, and he told them that at the end of his second tenure, people will come to Anambra State to copy how to take care of persons with disabilities.
Good. That's the aspect that was coming.
Anambra State is now the first state in the southeast to pass the disability rights bill. Anambra is the first. So that's another history for Anambra, another history for Apokwedike.
In we were of trying to wind up, when the bill is fully operational, do we expect that in the next future there will be no beggars in the streets, there will be no people who are living in disability?
Well, I would not promise you that there will be no beggar, because a lot of people come from other states, because Anambra State is home for all. And while we are taking care of our people, and not just our people, but even people who are resident here, many people are coming in. So there will always be such people, but all we can tell you is that we're doing the best. The ministry is doing the best, rounding them up, trying to help them. And Apokwedike is doing the best. The APGA administration in Anambra State is doing the best. And all I can say to people, let's give persons with disabilities more opportunity to showcase the ability in disability. For instance, APGA is becoming a national party, and APGA persons with disabilities have rewritten the APGA anthem, translated into English. So far now, we sing it only in Igbo.
We want to leave. So what do you tell those living in disability?
Those living with disability, all I can say is turn your media on and come and benefit from the package that Apokwedike has for us, because your disability is not the end of the road, but just a bend in the road. And when you are driving your car and you approach a bend in the road, you don't park your car. You negotiate the bend and keep going. If you have found yourself impaired in one form or the other, there are other things in you. There are other God-given talents that you can use to distinguish yourself and become who God wants you to become.
Thank you very much, Barrister Chuks Ezewuzie, SSA to the Governor on Disability Matters. We really appreciate your presence to let us know that there is ability in disability. Thank you so very much. We got to go. We got to wind up here, and then ask you to stand by as we move on to our next segment of Good Morning Anambra today. Stay with us.